Hello and welcome to another Adobe video. Now, this video is basically because the Adobe Photoshop and After Effects beta are available now, and I was really keen to try out their Firefly AI tool. And I've been looking and seeing this blow up on Twitter and social media, but I just wanted to kind of do a quick video on this new generative fill and just see what kind of results we can generate from it. So it's a non-destructive method to add or remove content from our scene. So I'm just going to quickly open up some images and we'll have a go of it. Okay, so we have two images here. We have a drone shot, and I'm thinking about seeing what we can add into this scene or whether we can extend the edges in some way. And then I have this other shot of some geese. Now, these are just some random images, nothing amazing. I'm not really pushing the boundaries here. There is some amazing stuff that I will probably share or show towards the end of this video in a kind of collage, but I just want to go through how it is. So we're in the beta of the new Photoshop, and we can just simply use one of our selection tools, whether that's a lasso or marquee tool. I'm just going to use a lasso, and I'm just going to select our objects, in this case our goose. We can go to generative fill. So we have generative fill, we have our brushes where we can feather or expand our selection. We have the invert to invert our selection, transform to adjust, to pull and move around. We can create a mask, we can create an adjustment layer, we can fill it, and basically the standard stuff that we used to be able to always do over here anyway, all these little tools down here kind of thing. But what we're interested in here is the generative fill. So if I click generative fill, this is going to bring up a new window. It says generative AI in Adobe apps. You can now generate new ways of generative AI in Adobe apps. Click agree. I agree. So this is where we can type in a prompt, much like you would with ChatGPT or any of these other AI tools, or we can just click generate and it will just automatically guess and generate a fill based on what else is on our scene. So let's just click generate first just to see what that does. So in theory, they should just remove the goose and just basically do a kind of content-aware fill, I imagine. We'll see what the AI, how it interprets our image. Oh, what it's done is it's actually changed the type of bird. So we've got the option here, for example, for a crow, removing it completely, or it's tried to put a kind of pheasant in, I believe. And you can generate again to generate more prompts. So we pick the kind of one that's the closest to what you kind of want to do. You can press generate again. It'll then try and regenerate on top of what's generated. So it'll then say, well, instead of a goose, now let's see what we can do with a crow, for example. So let's just see what it does now using that data. So it'll give us some more options. So these are all content-aware fills. Yeah, so it's just giving us variations of content-aware fill there. But let's try doing something a bit more crazy and put small cat on cobbles. And I'm going to click, so we're going to type in a prompt. So I want a small cat on cobbles. I'm going to click generate. And let's just see if it can fill that scene, that space, that selection up with a cat. You can also see over here in our generative layer, we have variations and options we can select from. So there we go. It's put a cat on our scene. It's even generated a kind of shadow for it. We can choose between our variations of cat. So either using these toggles here or in our window here, we can see the variations it's given us. So got 3 different types of cat there. Some looking better than others. You can see it's AI, so it still has a bit of an issue with certain features and certain animals. It's a learning algorithm. But let's say I'm going for something a bit more crazy and go alien riding a bike. Let's see what that does. See if it can see what it can do if I give it a bit of a more weird prompt. What I'm kind of impressed with is it's kind of trying to match the color composition largely. It's not super out of place. The cat isn't anyway, at least. Yep, there we go. So it's made us a kind of weird alien. So let's give us a few alien variants there, so 3 alien variants. And what it does is it basically just generates this new layer, so we can still toggle it off and still see our original underneath. But it's quite nifty, isn't it? And if you like, if it's kind of a good prompt, you can give it a thumbs up. If it's a bad prompt, you can just give it a thumbs down, and it removes it from its. So it basically creates a kind of library of words, so positive and negative words. So it will say, oh, I want more of that, but less of that going forwards. Or you can flag it if it's, well, a problem result and a result that needs to be looked at. So something, let's say, a little bit dodgy that's generated can be flagged, and it will hopefully train the AI algorithm to remove that from its pool of generations. Let's try our drone shot here. And this one, I want to try and see what I can do with this. So I'm going to select this area here, and I want to put a city in there, I think. So I'm going to go with a generative fill, and I'm going to type in sci-fi city with hover cars, and click generate. Now this could mess things up because of scale, because obviously this is a drone shot, so our perspective is going to be a bit at kilter. So we'll see how it does with this. I would imagine this should be a fairly easy-ish prompt for it to work with. Let's give us some UFOs, some weird orbs, and more UFOs. So that's not what I want. So I'm going to remove the hover car section, just put in sci-fi city, see if I can give it a better prompt. So again, like with a lot of these AI tools, wording and the kind of use of those words and the order you put them in have a big impact. So you want to sort of use very clear, defined words in descriptive language of what it is you're after to get the best results out of it. So this, it might, oh, there we go. So it's put a city in. Some work better than others. You can see, obviously, some of them, it's not quite clipped correctly there, so I'd still have to go manually in and blend it in better. And it's still giving us the other results there, but let's go with this one here, and I'm going to go, that's fine, yep, I'm happy with that. So that's now reported it, so that's an okay result. So I'll put a sci-fi city in there. I'm then going to select my whole scene. I'm just going to create a new scene. So go to clipboard, paste in, hang on, I want to select all, so I'm going to go to select all. So selected all that, edit, paste special, paste in place. It's not copying across that layer, so why is it not doing that? Copy merged. There we go. So I've got this in our scene here. I'm going to now select this and scale it down. So show transform tools, scale this down, put this in the middle of our scene somewhere, click select, and now I'm going to, using our marquee tool, draw some borders around the outside of our scene, and I'm just going to say to it to generate without any prompts, and I want to see if it can try and expand the scene out. So let's just click generate and see what it does. So the theory of this is you can take a photo of somebody's face or part of their body, and it will try and fill in the details. So if you miss cutting the top of somebody's head off, it will try and fix that. So it will try and put a new top of the head on, and you can choose a result and try and get, fill in details that are missing. Obviously, depending on how good the original images and original composition is, will depend on how good the result is at the end of the day. So it's not a end all. Oh, that's actually done a pretty good job. Now, what's quite interesting here is because it's got the city here, it's tried to copy some of those elements and put in a futuristic-y city building into the woodland here, which I'm not too issue with. And here you can see it's kind of took a bit of the green from over here and, and tried to expand it out. But if I just toggle it off, all these trees here, everything in that window there is just not present in the original. It just knows that the trees come to an end because the trees come to an end this side. So it generates as an ending point and says, well, at this point here it ends, then goes into a field. So surely this end would also do the same thing. So unlike content aware fill, it's guessing, but it's guessing based on more web driven prompts. So it knows that this is a landscape. It knows roughly the shapes that are being used. it knows roughly the lighting. So, for example, it's trying to know that the sun is hitting this kind of area, so it's lighter here than it is down here. So therefore, it's carrying that light rays across, so it's lighter here than it is down here. So it is doing a very impressive job. Now, will it take away from, traditional Photoshop workflows? Maybe not. You're still better off getting it in shot first and, manually composing things and adjusting things. But as a tool, you can sort of see where this is going. Now, imagine this in video with After Effects, for example. You can have your Premiere Pro clip. You want to select an object. So let's say, imagine if you had one of these tools that you could say, I want to select everything in my scene that is red and has a smiling face on it, for example. It can select, theoretically, it could select everything of that description, and then you could just track it or remove it or replace it. It would make the workflow so much quicker. So I'm going to just put hole in ground. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. I'm just putting in random prompts because I'm quite interested to see. We don't want to put a hole in the ground. I want to see if it can try and do the edges of a hole. See what it does there. Now, it might not do this right, and they can kind of see here as well as bits of it just kind of. Oh no, that is doing a pretty good job. So it's trying to go with kind of golf holes there, so you can see like this is a sand, and this is a sand bunker, and this is just a pond, and they do look a little bit painted, painterly, like all these AI generated things are. It's redrawing over a web-based image, so it's not a photograph it's using, it's redrawing over images and then combine them together to create a new result. Essentially is what a lot of these things do. But this is Adobe Firefly, and it's very impressive from what I can see, and I can kind of see how this could be incorporated into design workflows, and especially with video, become a massive time saver if you only want to do very specific fixes, not if you want to use it to generate everything. If I had a very low pixel image and I was saying I want to now upscale this and I want this to be this blob to turn into a face, theoretically it might be able to do that. Let's just try it to see if it can. Human face close up. Let's see what it does. And I'm wondering if it just does the face, or if it tries to do the head, or if it does the body. We'll see what it tries to do here, because there's nothing here that would indicate a human. So I'm just wondering if it just plonks. Yeah, so it is just trying to put. So it's still trying to use the whole prompt from before, and it's just in a random face. So yeah, that one hasn't quite worked, but it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But the best thing is it's non-destructive. We're not destroying our original image. All these are just new mask layers that we can toggle on and off, and we're not changing anything. But this is coming to Photoshop. This is a beta access at the moment. You can freely download it now if you want to and try it out. And yeah, I'll be looking at more of these AI tools within the Adobe products and other software tools, because I do think that AI has a very important place with production workflows and can be a very inspirational tool if we use it very responsibly and correctly. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or queries, remember to like, comment and subscribe and post them down below, and I'll try and answer them as quick as I can. And I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.